All right, senior home business family, Merry Christmas. I know it's a week earlier. It's the 18th of December, 2024. And we're going to talk today about seniors, obviously, and some magical things that we can do for seniors. So we got some Christmas music going on, and we're not going to have this entire video. But Brittany, I thought it'd be kind of cool to have some snow because I'm in Central California and I don't get any snow, man. You have to go up the mountains. I don't see any snow. I might see a little rain, but I don't see the white stuff anymore as I used to see that in Virginia. But we're so grateful that you are here today. And we love coming on and showing you different things about seniors. And just seniors are our life, it's our business. And we love to talk to people that have an interest in seniors. And so you might be out there sitting and saying, man, what am I going to do for the new year? What am I going to do for this upcoming 2025? And it's a golden opportunity. We all typically set new goals, right? And it's things that we're going to change in our lives. And I know most of the time it's, man, I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna go to the gym every day and I'm gonna lose 20 pounds. I'm gonna put on 20 pounds of muscle. And I'm gonna eat right, never eating junk food for the rest of my life. And we know that most of the time lasts about 3 to 6 weeks, and then everybody's back to around Valentine's Day, their Scarfadel, the chocolate and everything else. But a lot of times people are looking for a new career, Brittany, and I've been this way years ago. And get down to Christmas, and you're thankful and you're grateful for the people in your lives, and it could be your kids, and could be your pets, could be a lot of different things. But I always kind of look for, like, man, purpose and meaning in my life, and this business just adds a whole lot of purpose and meaning in our lives, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. In many ways, I think just being like the reward that you get personally from helping families, helping seniors, being a resource in your community, it besides finances, it just gives back wholeheartedly. You can go to sleep with a smile on your face, knowing that you're helping a lot of people. So it's really rewarding.
Absolutely. You see a little ticker down there. We're going to talk about heartwarming Christmas ideas for seniors and assisted living. So we're going to go through 7 of them today. I got a little short video I'm going to show you in just a little bit. It's about 2 minutes long. I think it's 2 years old, but it's heart touching. And it's just, anyway, I won't spoil the video, but it's a really cool video we'll show you. But we want to get into it and how these ideas that we can have to make the seniors holiday magical. I mean, you think about, I'm 56. I've said that many times on this channel. Brittany, you're 28, I believe. You're exactly half my age. You got a long ways to go. But the older I get, it's the more I look at Christmas and I look at this time of year, it's not like, okay, I'm 56 and let's say I live to be 96. And so I got 40 more years left to live. I have started to think over the last year or so, like, if I do live to 96, which no one knows but God, right? But let's say I do, hypothetically, knock on wood, I live 40 more years, 96. I don't have 40 more years left. I got 40 more Christmases left. And then if you put that in perspective with my mom and dad, who's both 76 and soon to be 76 next year, 75, 76, how many more Christmases they have? And let's say they have another 10 more years. Well, I don't have 10 years with mom and dad. I got 10 more visits, 10 more opportunities, especially if I only see them one time a year, which is pretty true with my life because I'm in California, mom and dad are in Virginia. So anyway, but kind of put it in perspective, and we want to get into it today. And, 7 different things that we can do to help seniors. And again, I'm going to show you a video in just a second, so stay with us. But the first one is just personal touch gifts, Brittany. I mean, thinking about family photos and just memories, letters or cards or anything like that. And, we can do some of those things even as a senior placement agent, right?
Yeah, so you can, I know that some agents do move-in gifts, which I think are really cool. Or if you have clients that are moving during the holidays, this is I think it's one of the best times to move into a community, probably being selfish on the placement agency side of things. But because I think the communities are full of life, they're full of decorations, everybody's in a cheerful mood. I think it's a great time to transition into senior living. My perspective, from the senior's perspective, it's probably the exact opposite, and the family. So like just giving them something that's a little bit more touching around Christmas, it's really important that when you're talking to families as a senior placement agency to find out what they like. So if they like a certain kind of pie or cookie, or like for this example, like if, they love the Kansas City Chiefs or the Dallas Cowboys, like stuff like that, make it like a personalized gift. So you can definitely use some of these that we'll talk about today to, even besides Christmas, to, give your clients gifts, give your clients a moving gift. It is the hardest time for some families. I don't know what you think about that, Matt, but I love Christmas time moves. I love the holiday moves.
Yeah, I do too. And sometimes it's harder to convince families to move their loved ones during this season because just the family issue, right? They want to be around the great grandkids, their daughter or son wants to be around their mom or dad. And I totally get that. And it pulls on your heartstrings. I've got a bunch of stories on previous videos. We've talked about how, it's best to look at the care, not just so much the cost and the convenience. And the convenience here for like Christmas or the holiday season, it's convenient to have mom at home and deal with this after the holidays. But you really got to look at the care component. You got to look at what exactly mom needs and what's best for mom during this season. And it could be going to assisted living, even though it's a hard thing to do. But look at the care ultimately. But yeah, it definitely pulls on your heartstrings. I love this time of year. It can be a joyful time. Seniors going into communities, meeting new friends, experiencing just the festivities. A lot of these communities will do a lot of different things, right? I mean, they'll decorate the whole building up. They'll maybe have Santa Claus come by and have some people come by and sing. And, it's just a lot of different things. So it could be a joyous setting, especially if mom is typically at home and everyone else is at work and doing their own thing and she's all by herself. It may be a better opportunity for her to be in a community. So yeah, the personal touch gifts, I think a cool thing to do if your handwriting is legible, which my handwriting is not too legible, Brittany. Gosh, I wish it was. I should have been a doctor. I think I write just like a doctor, but I think like handwritten cards, or at least cards that you write, it could be a lot of things on the card, a Hallmark card, but you write things at the bottom. So it's a handwritten kind of note or message to your loved one. Could be your grandma, could be, if it is your grandma or something like that, just what she means to you. I think in terms of my mom and dad way back in the day, and they're both passed away now, but they meant everything to me. Like my dad's mom, I called her Meemaw. She practically raised me up until I was like 5 or 6. Not because mom and dad weren't in the pictures, because they were working. Both had dual income, and so they were both gone. I was not in school at the time. So what did they do? They dropped me off at Meemaw's house, and she would take care of me from early morning hour all the way until like 5, 6 o'clock at night. Every day of my life, at least Monday through Friday, for like the first 5, 6 years of my life. And it just meant something to me. And then my granddad, called D-Dad, he'd always give me like, special gifts, like cash kind of guy gifts, right? So, he'd fix my car and he'd do certain things. He's okay, you got a date this weekend? I'm like, oh yeah. Going out, D-Dad. And he said, well, pick a hand. Which hand do you want? And so I pick a hand and be a $10 bill in this hand. He goes, well, you picked the wrong hand, son. And I said, what? And it was a 20 in this hand. He said, well, it doesn't matter. Have both of them. You give me both of them, right? This is so cool, right? It's just personal touch gifts. And now with illustrations coming from the other way, coming from seniors to little kids, but how much more, meaningful it could be for seniors when you got kids that show up, right? It could be, if you're a family and you have teenagers, I know it's oftentimes hard to get teenagers to do certain things like this, but if you can get them to go there and do some kind of personal touch gift with their grandma or grandpa, it will mean the world to them. So that'd be the first thing we talk about. Then what about holiday decorations? I mean, if you got a loved one that's already in assisted living, and the community is going to do a whole lot, right? They're going to have the Christmas tree. They're going to have all kinds of decorations, and maybe they go around putting wreaths up on each of the apartment doors or in the rooms, or I don't know. But there's things that you can do as a family. I mean, it might just be a small Christmas tree. I remember talking about my D-Dad. He had this really small tree. I mean, like a 2-foot tree. He got to the point in his life where he was like, he got tired of putting up the big trees. He was the kind of person to go out and buy a tree, put it in the corners, a big tree and all that stuff. And then one year we went over his house, Brittany, and he had this 2-foot Christmas tree. And he bought it out of I don't know where he bought it from somewhere, and it just came out of a box, and it was like the lights were already on it. It was really weird, but he really loved that thing. And so, but what are some ways we can help our loved ones in decorating their apartments or their rooms?
I like the idea of decorating. So a lot of the communities have competitions for the door decorating contest. I think that's an amazing way. Get all the grandkids and the kids together and
Yeah.
decorate the door and try to win a competition. I think that's my favorite way. I've been to a lot of assisted livings, we go to a lot of them. Even some skilled nursings are doing this now. So if you have a loved one, I think that's the most fun. I've seen them make hot chocolate, watch a Christmas movie, eat popcorn,
Ooh, hot
do all
chocolate.
that kind of stuff, and use that quality time. Use it as like an event. So I really love that. And it's so funny when they win or they're like first, second, third place, and the family's like, dang it, we didn't get first place or whatever. So I love that idea. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. So holiday decorations. And if you don't have time to do that, let's say you're just so pressed for time, and the holiday season can be stressful, unfortunately. It's supposed to be a time of remembering, if you're a Christian, remembering Christ's birth. If it's not, just family, and just, a time of being grateful, and however you want to categorize it. I'm not trying to put you in a box, anybody out there, but just, it's supposed to be a time like that. But maybe you don't have the time because it can be stressful. Everybody's out getting Christmas presents, right? Going to the store, shopping, hopefully online. I do a lot of my stuff online. My wife gave me a couple ideas what she wants for Christmas, and I was going there, and I'm going to just Amazon it, and it'll be here in, I don't know, a couple of days. I'll overnight it or something like that. So she already told me what she wants, and my wife and I, Brittany, we do that. We tell each other what we want, and it's I know that takes away the surprise, but I'd rather get a gift that I like, to be honest with you. And I'd rather give a gift that someone else likes. I mean, because if I remember that whole thing I did with my wife's birthday, the birthday month, all of October, and there were certain things I knew she liked, but man, it was challenging because it was 31 days in October. And every day I had to go out and think about something that she would like. And I think I got it right most of the time, but it's challenging. So for Christmas, I don't want to do that. So, but let's say you don't have time to do it as a family. What you can do is spend some quality time with them. And you can schedule a time to go by and see them, or you just go by and see them. I don't, depends on what the community is doing. But during those times of quality time, I mean, you can just listen to music together, have a meaningful conversation, allow them to talk about their past Christmases, their past events. And because I would think, Brittany, if I'm right, I don't think this would be a time that an individual should be sharing a whole lot. I think they should ask the senior questions and let them talk and let them share. What do you think about that?
I agree. I think the memory, especially like the memories you said, I think just letting them, I think in general, when you're spending time with seniors, let them talk a little bit more if you don't get a lot of quality time with them. But yeah, let them share their memories, maybe bring them back to a time where, as long as it's not, something that makes them upset, but a lot of like, what did Christmas used to look like? What were their traditions? I actually love that question because especially like my age, when you're starting families, you can carry over those traditions. So if you don't ask your senior loved ones, if it's a grandparent, what did you guys used to do? You can carry that over. So no, I love that idea. Also, like, I know a good thing too is to visit them during meal times. If you have time to go during lunch or dinner, I can't tell you how much seniors love showing off their family to the other residents and like having a conversation with everybody. So you can spend quality time by going to a dinner one night if you have time. A lot of them are really proud of their home. Hopefully, if they're already in assisted living, they get to that point where they're proud of it. Might take a little bit, but they do usually get there. And they love to introduce you to their friends and like who they know. And especially if it's Christmas, that's a great time to have dinner with them or lunch. They love that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's great. And the quality time, just you being there, guys, just you being with your loved one, smiling, being involved with what, being there and kind of being engaged with what they're involved with, right? So it's not coming like you have to prepare anything, even though you might want to bring a gift or you bring some cookies or something like that, but you're just kind of sharing the moment. And that kind of brings me to the next point of just kind of special experiences that you can have with them. So I'm going to show this video, Brittany, and this is kind of a shared experience they have with a community. And like I said, it's about 2 minutes long. So I don't want you guys think it's going to be some long video, but I want to share this with you guys because I think it would be cool for us to kind of see this. So here we go. Let's watch the video for a second.
Well, new tonight at 6 o'clock, Christmas came early for some seniors at Fairview Assisted Living in Spokane.
And the Santa Claus who made the special delivery was a little younger than you might expect. Our Derek Dice unwraps the story.
Spirits are a little brighter at Fairview Assisted Living thanks to a 7-year-old Santa Claus and a mom's stuffed animal collection. Kelly Phelan's mom passed away in September.
I haven't been able to clean out her stuff, but she had a ton of stuffed animals.
Not sure what to do with them, Kelly's coworker told her about a woman who donated stuffed animals to nursing homes.
I got right on the phone with Dave and Heidi. I've known them forever, and asked if we could come here. And I packed them all up on Sunday, and we were here on Monday.
Santa's helper.
And she enlisted the help of that coworker's son, Bo, who was thrilled to play Santa.
That made me feel happy because I just wanted to spread joy to everyone that didn't have people that didn't visit them.
Needless to say, the seniors loved receiving their stuffies and meeting their young Santa.
We just all love them. It's a perfect gift. That's all God gave us.
It was just wonderful to see everyone's face, and Bo was really the hit of the party, I should say, and we're very thankful for that.
Bo even came back yesterday to continue spreading Christmas cheer and even helping with the entertainment, learning that it's often better to give than receive.
It made me feel great that I saw those smiles on their faces.
And Kelly might keep her young Santa busy as she has more stuffed animals to give away and hopes of making this a holiday tradition.
And then we're going to collect them next year, and this is going to be an annual thing.
Oh, that's
perfect. And hopefully he stays young. And
What do you think, Brittany?
That's so sweet.
Oh my goodness, man! It looks Santa Claus and the stuffed animals, and just how that was birthed out of that, and just thinking of some special experiences that we can have with our own loved ones. But then there's some things that communities will do, and this is some of the what your mom or dad or grandma and grandpa will experience if they're in a community. Many of them do this. I'm not saying all of them do it, but that's one of the important things to find and identify a really good assisted living community or independent memory care. And these are some of the questions you want to ask. I mean, as we look at reviews, you work with a senior placement agent, you want to make sure that you're in a good community, because these are the experiences that seniors should have regularly. Again, I'm not saying all of them do this, but man, they should. And I would think in the evaluation of a community, Brittany, if they don't do things like this, if they're not intentional, you don't look at the activity calendar and you don't see any pictures, any evidence of this kind of thing going on a regular basis for holidays and, making the days more meaningful, I would tend to shy away from that type of community. I don't know. Is that wrong to think that way or what?
I would agree. I think a lot of things with the activities calendars, even aside from just holidays, it's looking for, like you said, the pictures and the engagement, because anybody can throw up a lot of activities on a calendar. They have to be doing the activities. One cool thing with social media, technology, everything is kind of coming together. I have found that a lot of communities use Facebook. Kind of sounds silly, but a lot of them use Facebook. And I think a really cool way, when I'm working with families, if I know a community is really active, I always tell the families to look them up on Facebook, because all this stuff you're seeing, like that example would be on there. I know some communities write cards. So they make craft cards and give it to the homeless. I've seen that before. They've made blankets and they've given them to the homeless for Christmas. So things like that. I think looking deeper than just a regular activities calendar, making sure they're doing those activities that are on the calendar, not just one or two residents are attending those activities. And also Facebook. I think that's a great way to, if they use social media, look at it. Because a lot of them will post every activity that they do. You can see how many residents are actually going.
Yeah, because there's got to be some history to it, right? And that's what you're talking about. When you look at Facebook, in terms of any other social media they have, and maybe pictures at the community, just you want to see historically, what have they been doing for the last 2 or 3 years, the last 2 or 3 different holidays? Is it, and again, if they don't do something, regularly, let's say 2 years ago, did they have a management change, a leadership change? Maybe there's a shift of focus. Maybe it was poor leadership before. Maybe it was an executive director didn't put a whole lot of emphasis on that. Maybe it was a management group that didn't, but now they do. So it's important you check out those things. And I'll tell you, as much as we talk about care, which is paramount, but man, these activities and different things that you get the sense of purpose for a senior when they wake up in the morning. I've had many different seniors, and Brittany, I know you have too, that you've placed that, went into these communities, and some of them, if not many of them, were very skeptical, did not want to move. And then when they go and they get involved in these activities, it's like, oh my gosh, it gives them purpose. I've told this one story on here before years ago, but this one guy I put into a independent community, and the guy would call his dad twice a day. The dad would call his son twice a day. So he would call his son twice a day. And then when he went to the community, it only took like a week into the community, got acclimated. He didn't call his son at all. Matter of fact, his son was calling him thinking, Dad, are you okay? And he's like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And the guy had like a little piece of, he had like a pocket up here, right? And then he had in his like an index card or something up there, and he had all these activities he had written down. He was going to go to Wii bowling, and they're going to go out to eat, and he was going to do this and that. And he was like, son, can I call you back later? I'm really busy. And the son was like, okay. But that's what these kind of things can do. But getting back to seeing your own senior or your own loved one in the community, kind of having some thoughtful, I put thoughtful services. I don't know if that's the right way of doing it, but doing something that's kind of thoughtful for them. And I was thinking in terms of maybe women, Brittany, doing like manicures or something like that. I don't know anything about it. I couldn't do it. I mean, I tease my wife all the time. She always gets manicures, and I see the best manicurist in town. I mean, it's the guy. My guy is cheap. He's always available. We're always outside, with the nail clippers, and whenever I want, he's ready to go. Obviously, you didn't pick that up as me, but it's very easy. So, but manicures and it'd be a great opportunity. Like, let's say only 2 or 3 of you guys can go as a family. For some reason, everybody else's schedule is booked, and they just can't get there for some reason. I think some. Maybe just being able to doing some stuff with tech, right? Maybe some FaceTime or something like that you can do. And I know some communities actually have tablets in their rooms. They could FaceTime and different things to their family. And if they don't have that, maybe you bring your tablet or use your phone, and you're able to FaceTime people. So, grandma is able to see the great grandkids, because the great grandkids are not able to get there. Maybe they're super busy, or maybe they're out of town. They just can't get there. But it'd be a nice way to be a thoughtful Christmas, right? What do you think, Brittany?
Yeah, I love that. I know this is kind of a weird one, but not a weird one, but it would be out of the box massages. I know that a lot of the communities now even are getting like massage. I mean, basically they're having people come in to give massages. So I think it's amazing for seniors. Everyone might be like, not the first thought you think of, but I love that idea, especially for even men too. I mean, it's a great way. It's good for their bodies. I know that a cool thing that they were doing at one community, they were hiring somebody to come in and just do shoulder massages for like groups. So I think that's really cool. Like maybe you could plan that, or whatever that looks like. Another cool thing too, if the loved one cannot get out for like a pedicure or manicure, a lot of them have salons on site. So you can actually go there and do those things. Cause I think it's really hard with seniors too. I think families have sometimes difficulty getting them out. So try to find out how you can bring these services in. A lot of people have gone that route.
Yeah. I mean, so you're right. Some of the salons I've seen in these communities are fantastic, man. There was one I remember as an independent community, but it was like state of the art. I mean, I've dropped my wife off and been to a few of them where she's gone, and I'm thinking, man, this is like this is not a back seat to those establishments. I mean, it was really, really nice. So I got that. What about acts of kindness? And I mean, that kind of goes without saying, but in terms of maybe sharing a book with them, some puzzles, maybe assisting them in picking out gifts for the grandkids or whatever, right? And it might be something they're actually paying for, or maybe something as you as their son or their daughter that you're paying for, and maybe you bring your tablet or something and they're able to pick out gifts that comes from them, whether you go out and physically buy those gifts or buy them online, but just some acts of kindness. I mean, that kind of goes without saying, but I think what I'm trying to get at here is that we want to get the senior involved in what, instead of going, okay, hey mom, we bought the great grandkids some gifts for you. Instead of doing something like that, what you do is you actually get mom to look at some things, and maybe you give her some examples of what the grandkid likes. I remember back in the day, I was a little kid. I was like 8, 9 years old. So I remember it. So I was like 8 or 9 years old. I was kind of out of the age and the stage of little Tonker toys and stuff like that. But my great grandma was still alive at the time. And I remember it because I kept it because it's just out of respect. But she got me like this little plastic blue and white truck. And for an eight or 9-year-old at the time, I mean, I wasn't playing with those things. But she was so thoughtful in buying everybody a gift. She lived on a shoestring budget. I mean, shoestring. And somehow she managed to give everybody, including myself as a grandkid, a gift. And it may not have been exactly what, an 8 or 9-year-old would want, but it was the thought that matters, right? So, but you can actually help your loved ones in picking out gifts. And the cool thing about it, in that example, it doesn't have to be expensive. I mean, I'm just thinking right now, I'm kind of having a moment here thinking, I've received a lot of gifts over time, and I received some expensive gifts. And somehow I'm remembering this little gift that back in the day, it probably cost $4, $3. I don't know what it cost. It was just a little plastic kind of a toy. So, I mean, it's the thought that matters. So anyway, what do you think, Brittany? Acts of kindness, what else stuff we can do to help our seniors out?
Yeah, no, I mean, I love the idea of the thoughtful gifts. I think too, like you mentioned, handwritten letters earlier. I think seniors love to do those. So I think they would love to receive them. I think seniors really kind of lean towards handwritten letters. And I know I've gotten little trinkets and stuff. I've gotten from one client even a handmade ornament. So I even got that. Anyway, so yeah, I think it's just honestly like to kind of in general, they really enjoy spending time with people. They enjoy, for the most part. I know not everybody's the same, but seniors really do love the quality time, they don't need usually the expensive, diamond necklace for Christmas or whatever. I think just taking time out to visit with them, not be in a rush, not be on your phone, just really enjoy the time with them. I know you see the grandkids on their cell phones, on their iPads the whole time, just actually spending quality time with your loved ones. I also love the idea of shopping with them. To your point, you'll hear, "Oh, Mom, don't worry. We got all the grandkids something from you." No, let them be involved. Even if it's Amazon, to your point, have them scroll Amazon if she can't leave the community to go shopping. I just love that idea. So I think those are all really good ways. I also think they're ways as placement agents, if you're in this business, if you're an assisted living administrator, whatever marketing director, whatever you are right now, you can use some of these things to give back to your community, give back to your clients, your family, all of those things. I think they're really good ideas.
Yeah, definitely. And the last one, you guys, is spiritual connection. I put this up here because of the holidays, right? And it kind of goes with Jesus being the purpose and the meaning of Christmas. And again, that's from a person of faith, I know. But, if your grandma or grandpa is a person of faith, then that would be important that maybe you bring somebody in that could maybe sing some worship songs with them. They can, if they're not a person of faith, and that's okay too, right? But you have a time of gratitude and conversation, what you're thankful for. It's just important, I think, to have a time of reflection and time of conversation a little bit deeper than what we normally do in everyday life. And again, to kind of reiterate what we said earlier, is you want to kind of hear their heartbeat, hear what they're saying, and get them involved. And, it's not an opportunity for us to dominate the conversation, whatever. Now, we might have to prime the pump a little bit, but get them going. And I know my dad, for instance, man, he's 75. That guy can talk all day long. I would not need to prime the pump with my dad. He's got story after story after story after story. My mom, on the other hand, not so much the conversationalist. She could obviously have a conversation. She loves talking to people, but it might take a little bit more to get some things out of her. So you really got to read and understand your loved one, know them, and know what it's going to take. And I would think the important thing is just to get them talking, get them reminiscing, get them discussing and talking about times of, their past, right? And like Brittany said earlier, not focus on the bad things, not focusing on, the cold Christmas when they got no gifts, or not focusing in on the time when they went through Christmas and it was a bad time economically throughout the world and no one got any gifts. It's not that moment. It's the moment just where it brings a smile to their face, whatever that story is. But yeah, we want them smiling, right, Brittany?
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. All right, you guys, hopefully this was helpful. And again, if you want to know more about what Brittany and I do on a daily basis and helping seniors at no cost, no obligation, you can click the link down below and schedule a call with me. I'll be glad to have a conversation with you about the senior placement business. And we've got the Senior Placement Institute that Brittany and I did about 6 to 8 months ago. I'm bad with time, Brittany. Sometime earlier this year, we put together. It's 42 modules. It's the most comprehensive senior placement course in the country. If you want to know more about that, just simply click the link down below. If you want to listen to a podcast, you want to do all kinds of little stuff, there's some links down there. But Brittany, thank you so much for your time today. And you're such an asset to our team. And Brittany, I keep saying asset to our team because she is. We work together in the senior home business. But she also has 2 agencies, you guys. She has one in Texas, one in Missouri. So it's not that she's coming on just to coach with me and that's it. We actually have our placement businesses in full operation and helping people. So until next time, you guys, God bless.